Sleep paralysis, between science, folklore, and the shadows of the night. Imagine this. You're lying in bed late at night. The room is silent except for your slow, rhythmic breathing. Suddenly, you feel a crushing weight on your chest. It's as if an invisible force has climbed on top of you, pinning you to the mattress. You try to move an arm, a leg, anything, but your limbs are frozen. You attempt to scream for help, but no sound emerges. Panic surges through you as your heart pounds and your breath grows shallow. Just when you think you can't take it anymore, the sensation lifts. You jolt awake, drenched in sweat, gasping for air. If you've experienced something like this, you are far from alone. This phenomenon is widely known as sleep paralysis, and in Vietnamese folklore, it kia is often called bong jae, literally, being pressed by a shadow. Almost every culture on Earth has its own name and mythology for this uncanny experience. But what exactly is happening during sleep paralysis? Is it really a dark force visiting us at night? Or is it a glitch in the machinery of the sleeping brain? This article will take you on a deep dive into sleep paralysis, its history, its symptoms, its scientific explanations, and the cultural myths that surround it. We'll also look at who is more likely to experience it, why it often feels so terrifying, and what you can do to reduce your chances of going through it again. What sleep paralysis feels like. People who have gone through sleep paralysis describe a strikingly similar scenario. You are asleep, or think you're asleep, when suddenly you realize you're conscious. You can see the room around you, maybe even hear sounds from the environment, but you can't move. Your chest feels heavy. Breathing becomes difficult. You may sense a presence in the room, sometimes even see a shadowy figure or feel a hand on your body. Some report a whispering voice, a dark shape near the door, or the feeling of someone sitting on their chest. The paralysis can last anywhere from a few seconds to several minutes. When it finally ends, you regain control of your body but are often left trembling, sweating, and exhausted. While the experience is not physically dangerous, it is psychologically intense. Many people say it is the most frightening event of their lives, a phenomenon and urban legend story passed down orally across cultures. One of the most fascinating aspects of sleep paralysis is its universality. From ancient times to the modern era and across every continent, humans have interpreted this experience in strikingly similar ways, often as an encounter with supernatural beings. In Vietnamese folklore, the term bong jae conjures the image of a ghost or spirit pressing down on the sleeper. People may place knives or sacred objects near their beds to ward off these forces. In medieval Europe, the phenomenon was called the old hag. People believed a witch would enter their bedrooms and sit on their chest, suffocating them. In Japan, the word kanashibari refers to being bound by metal chains, a reference to spiritual restraints placed on the body. In Newfoundland, people speak of the hag, similar to European tales. In Egypt, some attribute it to jinn or other spirits. Among the Hmong people of Southeast Asia, sleep paralysis has been linked to the concept of dab tsog, a crushing demon spirit. What's striking is that these cultures developed their explanations independently, long before modern science existed. No matter the name or the story, the pattern is the same. A sleeping person wakes to find themselves paralyzed, a weight on their chest, and a terrifying presence nearby. The science of sleep. To understand sleep paralysis, we first need to understand how sleep itself works. Sleep is not a uniform state. It unfolds in cycles with distinct stages. Stage 1. Light sleep. This is the transition from wakefulness to sleep. Your heartbeat and breathing slow, and your muscles relax. You might still be easily awakened. Stage 2. Deeper light. Sleep brain activity slows further. You're less aware of your surroundings, but you're still not in a deep sleep. Stage 3. Deep sleep, slow wave sleep. This is restorative sleep. Your body repairs itself and you're difficult to wake. Stage 4. REM sleep, rapid eye movement. This is where dreams happen. Your brain becomes highly active, almost as active as when you reawake, while your eyes move rapidly under your eyelids. But your body enters a state of near-total paralysis, known as REM atonia. This paralysis is a safety mechanism. Without it, you might physically act out your dreams and hurt yourself. On a typical night, you cycle through these stages multiple times. What goes wrong? The mechanism of sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis occurs when your brain wakes up from REM sleep before your body does. In other words, your mind is conscious, but your muscles are still locked in REMatonia. You're awake enough to perceive your surroundings, but still unable to move or speak. This mismatch creates the terrifying sensations people describe. Because your breathing muscles are partially paralyzed, you may feel short of breath or a crushing weight on your chest. Meanwhile, your dreaming brain is still active, which can produce vivid hallucinations, shadowy figures, voices, or tactile sensations. It's not that a demon is sitting on you, it's that your brain is blending waking reality with dream imagery. Why it feels supernatural. Even knowing the science, the experience feels profoundly eerie. Here's why. The sense of presence. Humans have a strong social radar. Our brains are wired to detect when someone else is nearby. In sleep paralysis, this system misfires, creating the illusion of a presence in the room. Hallucinations. Because parts of the brain are still in dream mode, visual and auditory hallucinations can occur. A coat on a chair may morph into a figure. A creak in the floor may sound like footsteps. Chest pressure. Shallow breathing and muscle paralysis create the sensation of being pressed or suffocated, which matches many cultural myths of spirits sitting on the sleeper. This combination, immobility, fear, hallucinations, and difficulty breathing, is tailor-made to evoke primal terror. Who is more likely to experience it? Research shows that sleep paralysis affects about 20–40% of people at least once in their lives. For some, it happens only once or twice. For others, it occurs frequently. Factors that increase the risk include sleep deprivation or irregular sleep schedules, high stress or anxiety, sleeping on your back, supine position, certain medications or substances that affect sleep cycles, narcolepsy, or other sleep disorders, sleeping in unfamiliar environments, hotels, new houses, dorms. Many people also believe that those who are more spiritually sensitive or weak-hearted, as some Vietnamese expressions put it, are more prone, though this is a cultural interpretation rather than a scientific one. The role of sleeping position. Interestingly, many people report that sleep paralysis happens when they're lying on their backs. Studies confirm a correlation between the supine position and higher rates of episodes. Why? One theory is that lying on your back makes it easier for the airway to become partially obstructed, intensifying the sensation of pressure and triggering panic. Conversely, sleeping on your side or stomach appears to reduce the likelihood of sleep paralysis, though it's not a guarantee. Psychological impact. Although sleep paralysis is medically harmless, its psychological effects can be significant. Frequent episodes can lead to sleep anxiety, fear of going to bed or falling asleep, insomnia, difficulty sleeping due to anxiety, daytime fatigue from disrupted sleep cycles, post-episode distress. Some people wake up crying, trembling, or unable to go back to sleep. For individuals with underlying anxiety or trauma, the episodes can feel like re-experiencing a nightmare while awake. Rituals and protective measures. Because sleep paralysis is so vivid, cultures have developed countless rituals to prevent or ward it off. Placing sharp objects under the pillow. In Vietnam and other places, people put knives or scissors near their beds to cut the spirit's influence. Religious symbols, crosses, amulets, or sacred texts placed near the bed. Prayers or mantras, reciting specific words before sleep. Science sees these as forms of psychological reassurance. If you believe a ritual protects you, your anxiety may decrease, which in turn can reduce the risk of an episode. Managing and preventing sleep paralysis. While you can't always prevent sleep paralysis, you can reduce its frequency and intensity. Maintain a consistent sleep schedule. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Prioritize enough sleep. Aim for 7–9 hours. Reduce stress. Practice relaxation techniques like meditation or deep breathing. Avoid sleeping on your back. Try side or stomach positions. Limit stimulants and alcohol, especially before bed. Create a calm sleep environment. Dark, cool, and familiar surroundings. Talk about it. Sharing your experiences can reduce fear and stigma. For chronic or severe cases, a sleep specialist may recommend further evaluation, as frequent episodes can be linked to conditions like narcolepsy. the mystery that remains. Even though science has mapped out the basic mechanism of sleep paralysis, mysteries remain. Why does the brain produce such specific and frightening hallucinations? Why do cultural myths about chest-sitting demons appear in places with no contact? And why do some people experience it regularly while others never do? These unanswered questions keep the topic fascinating for researchers and storytellers alike. Tips for coping. During an episode, if you find yourself in the grip of sleep paralysis, here are some strategies. Stay calm. Remind yourself that it's temporary and harmless. Focus on small movements. Try wiggling a finger or toe to break the paralysis. Control your breathing. Slow, steady breaths can reduce panic. Use mental imagery. Visualize yourself moving or floating away. Practicing these techniques in advance can help you feel more in control if it happens again. Sleep paralysis in pop culture. Because it's so dramatic, sleep paralysis has inspired countless movies, books, and artworks. From horror films about night demons to documentaries on sleep disorders, the phenomenon sits at the crossroads of science and superstition. Many alien abduction stories share features of sleep paralysis: waking paralyzed, sensing a presence, bright lights, and strange beings. This doesn't mean all such experiences are sleep paralysis, but the overlap is striking. Science versus spirituality. Ultimately, whether you interpret sleep paralysis as a spiritual attack or a brain glitch depends on your worldview. Some people find comfort in scientific explanations, while others find meaning in cultural or religious interpretations. Both perspectives highlight a core truth. Humans have always tried to make sense of the unknown, especially in the vulnerable state of sleep. Sleep paralysis sits at a unique intersection of biology, psychology, and folklore. Scientifically, it's a brief disconnect between the sleeping brain and the waking body, leading to paralysis and vivid hallucinations. Culturally, it's been seen as an encounter with spirits, demons, or witches across every corner of the globe. If you experience it, you're not alone. It's common, harmless, and, once understood, less terrifying. By maintaining good sleep habits, managing stress, and understanding what's happening in your body, you can reduce your risk and cope more effectively when it happens. Yet even with all our knowledge, sleep paralysis retains an air of mystery. In the quiet hours of the night, when the mind is half awake and the body is still, the boundary between dreams and reality blurs. Whether you see it as science or the supernatural, one thing is clear. Sleep paralysis is one of the most powerful reminders of how strange and wondrous the human mind can be. If you enjoyed this video and found it interesting, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss the next one.